Hello, Carrie here with the Spiritually Nurtured Mother. I wanted to welcome you all. And I want to talk today about, are you reacting to your child's behavior when you would rather be choosing your response? This is awesome. Welcome, Carrie. Thank you for joining my live. I hope you are doing well. So reactions are not consciously chosen. It's an automatic system in place for our survival. When we are reacting to our child's behavior, especially when there's a pattern, for example, when your child pushes against what you want and says no, you may instantly feel hot and tightness in your chest. Maybe your fists ball up. This is a reaction that is triggered by this situation. So if you are experiencing something like this and overreacting to your child's behavior, it's a sign that there's a wound being triggered. So the first step in healing this wound, so it's no longer a trigger, is shining the light on this wound, bringing awareness to it, to know it's there, to acknowledge it. It wants acknowledgement. Okay, it wants to be acknowledged, just like you want to be acknowledged. This wound is coming up, and this situation will occur over and over and over again until you heal what is behind that trigger. And Carrie, if you have any questions or any comments, please post those. That would be wonderful. I'd love to answer any questions you may have. I'm still pretty new to this live thing, so I hope you are enjoying it. So this trigger will continue to be activated to show you that that wound is still there until you are healing that wound, okay? The trigger is there also to let you know that a need is not being met. So this could be actually the beginning of it. Your need is not getting met, and so therefore you're triggered. And maybe that need wasn't met over and over and over when you were a child or when you were younger. And so it really has that emotional response to it, that deep emotional response, because you had a need that was not met as a child constantly, consistently this need wasn't being met. And so it produced this emotional trigger within you. And because that need wasn't being met, that produced a wound. It produced some trauma. And so if you are still having that trigger from that need not being met, for example, maybe if your child ignores you, you're feeling like you're not heard. This was a trigger for me. I didn't feel heard as a child. I didn't feel like I could voice my emotions and my thoughts, my needs, my desires. And so it became this wound inside me, and I carried that with me. And when I had Isabella, it's normal, especially at 7 years old, for kids to ignore you because they are doing so much internal processing that their entire focus is inward. And so often they don't hear you. It's not that they're ignoring you. It's just they've got so much going on. Their brain is so busy. It's like it just passes their ears. They don't actually, it doesn't register with them. And so if you are being emotionally overreacting and being really triggered by something like that, then that can tell you that there's pain there that needs to be healed. Okay, that's what I want to bring awareness to, is that, you know, it's not a normal reaction. This is an overly emotionally charged reaction. And remember that reactions happen instantly. It is part of our fight or flight response, part of our survival mechanism that was created by our ancestors centuries ago, or hundreds and hundreds of years ago. And so this system is lightning fast. That's what I want to get out. And we often don't like our reactions. Maybe we're yelling. Maybe we punch the wall or the floor. Maybe we throw something. Maybe we scream or yell. Whatever our reaction may be, maybe we're trying to force our child. Maybe, you know, there's lots of different reactions we can have. And but the point is, if you are not liking the reaction that you're having and you would rather choose your response, you have to slow down this instant reaction, right? You would have to slow it down in order to go, oh, I am reacting right now. This is actually my emotional trigger. It is not anything to do with my child. And in the moment, though, I have found, for me at least, is not the moment to choose your response that you want to have. You want to come up with responses when you are not in this overly emotionally reactive state, okay? So to slow this process down in the moment, to give yourself space to actually get to that, where you can think about these particular situations that are emotionally charged for you. You know, even if you are in a moment of relaxation and you're away from the situation, when you go back and you're thinking about that situation, you may get emotionally charged again. So you want to slow this whole process down. You want to create space for this process to unfold so that you may choose your response, okay? So the first step for this is bringing awareness to the situation. When you have awareness, first of all, that, oh, it's this situation. When my daughter ignores me, I get emotionally charged. If you are aware of that, then ahead of time, you can prepare yourself. You can say, oh, I may get ignored here. So first of all, I'm going to lessen the chance that I'll get ignored. And second of all, being aware that I may get ignored, I'm going to prepare myself mentally and emotionally that could happen. Okay, and this is where the space comes in. So bringing awareness, you can see that you are being triggered. You can identify the particular situations that are emotionally charged for you. And you can identify the trigger, like for me, not being heard or being ignored, for example. So as a child, I realized that this was a trigger for me because it made me aware. This awareness gave me the space and further awareness to know that I was holding on to old pain from the past there. And so that awareness helped me identify the trigger, identify the situations that are emotionally charged for me, and realize the deeper healing that needed to go on so that I may choose the response I wanted. So I'm a firm believer that our children, I believe Isabella chose me as her parent. I believe that she chose me at the specific time in my life, in the specific situation. I can go into that another time. I may write a book about it, because not only was it a shock to me, but the people around me were so completely shocked they almost couldn't believe that I was actually pregnant. And it completely changed my life. As any mother knows, your children change your life. But I firmly believe that they come to us at the right time. They are the right gender for us. They are the right personality for us. My daughter is almost the exact opposite of me, like personality-wise. It's kind of amazing. But they show us where we're holding on to our pain. Okay. And this pain, we may be going through our lives completely unconscious of this pain that we are carrying around. For me, I had my daughter at 35. And so I was going on, unawake, unconscious a lot of my life. And so the pain was just there. It was residing in my body. It was residing in my energetic field, until my daughter started triggering this and bringing it up. So she is the exact personality, the exact person that could shine the light on these wounds to show me where healing needed to occur. Okay, because this was buried so long ago, which is why at first, when it was being triggered, I didn't even recognize it as healing that needed to happen. I had no idea that it was I realized that it was a reaction, but I didn't know at first, well, why can't I slow down my reaction to this? Why I did realize that it was so overly emotionally charged. But I would just question myself, why is this so emotionally charged? I didn't realize until I brought awareness to it. And so when you're aware that you are being triggered, it may take a while, once you have that awareness that you're being triggered, before you actually realize that it has to do with deeper inner healing that needs some work. I am a big believer in not putting up Band-Aids, not covering up symptoms, but really getting to the root of problems. That is my goal, to shine the light and to hold the space on these issues so that we can get to the root of the problem. And that's what I do for my clients. I shine the light. I hold the space. I shine the light on the power within them, because each one of us has our own light and our own power within us. And so that's what I do for my clients. I first show you your power within you, and I hold the space. Okay, I have prepared the space that I am in when we come together with the intention of healing. And I hold that space for you so that you then are able to have this awareness of this healing, identify the trigger, identify the beliefs behind these triggers, and heal these triggers. Okay? We are able together, holding the space for you, and shining the light on it for you, you are able to get to the root of it. You can go all the way within you. That is your desire, and that's what you are able to do. And so I love doing this work. It is so fulfilling, and it's glorious to see the mother's reactions to this. So thank you. Thank you for this. I'm so blessed by the divine and source to have these gifts and to be able to share them with you. That is my desire. And so this is why I'm currently offering a complimentary session for a guided meditation, because this meditation will soften these areas and places within you. One thing, when you are having these overly emotionally charged responses from your children, they might not even be your children, and you are still having these overly emotionally charged reactions, right? It might be like denial. Okay, you might have so much resistance built up, so many, depending on how long or how this wound got there, this trigger was so emotionally charged, you might have a lot of resistance built up. You might have developed a lot of different coping tools and mechanisms to deal with this so that you didn't have to feel the pain of this emotional trigger as a child. I know for me, because I was such a young child, I didn't know how to handle these wounds. I didn't know how to get my voice heard. I didn't know how to stand in my power. And so I was being wounded, but because I was a child, it wasn't my job to protect myself. Honestly, is how I feel. And so I was getting these wounds, and our children from 0 to 7, they really are not capable of their own protection, of realizing that they need to stand in their own power. They can't really recognize that because they are doing their own internal work and growth to come into the physical at that time. And so for a child, for a parent to expect a child to know how to protect themselves from these wounds, to have awareness, to recognize that they are indeed acquiring these wounds, is, to me, I released myself of that burden. Whatever it is, I have forgiven myself, because I couldn't know it 5, 6, and 7 years old. I didn't have these tools to voice my needs and my wants when my parents were shutting me down. And so I have forgiven myself for that. And that is actually how I stand in my power now and help my daughter. I show her the way, right? We are models for our children. So keeping that in mind, all these overly emotionally charged reactions that you are having, you are modeling that for your children. So you need to stop and ask yourself, is this how I want my child to handle situations when they are older? Is this a foundation I want to give my child? Those are the questions I was asking myself. And my answer was no. I do not want my child to go through her life not knowing how to get her needs met, not knowing how to handle her emotions, how to identify her emotions, observe her emotions, work through her emotions. Those things were big on my list. And so that is what has brought me to this work, I think, is I have felt such a strong desire to be a particular kind of parent, one that allows my daughter to unfold, and, just like a flower has an unfolding, like our crown chakra, the lotus, has an unfolding at a particular time in their own particular way. I wanted to provide that space for my daughter, but I couldn't do it. I was blocked by all of these emotional triggers that I was having. And so that is why I'm in this work. That is why this is my soul's and my life's work, because I want to help you, other mothers, in being the parent you truly want to be for your child, the one you always dreamed. Me personally, I never dreamed of having kids. So I never, like before I was a parent, I never sat there imagining what kind of parent I would be. That just wasn't me. But I heard that a lot of other people do that. A lot of other women, maybe even men, but they sit there and they, fantasize about having kids and the kind of parent they would be. So for me, I kind of woke up into that when I was pregnant. Oh, okay, I'm going to be a mother. What kind of mother do I want to be? But I never realized that I would be kept from that, because actually everything was blissful. I had a glorious pregnancy. I was completely in the flow, in alignment during my pregnancy with my daughter up until she was almost 2 years old. And then that's when I began getting triggered. And so that's kind of when this block came up, and I didn't have the space. I didn't have the awareness. I didn't have the energy to be the parent I wanted to be. And I was actually beating myself up for it. Some of it was unrealistic. Some of it was lies and illusions that were part of these beliefs that I was holding on to. And I basically cracked myself open and found those beliefs and took them out and released them and let go of them. And the tools that I have used, the techniques and strategies and processes that I have used have slowly gotten all this stuff out so that I can be the mother I want to be, have the responses I want to have, which is from love, always holding my daughter in the light of love. Even when she is having these super overcharged reactions herself, either because of my triggers years ago and my reactions, or because this is just her path and this is just the path and the way it's meant to unfold. Or part of her personality, she's very dramatic. So I want to share those processes with you. And a big piece of that was forgiving myself. And so I created a meditation that will soften these places in you and that will help you forgive yourself. And this forgiveness is necessary in order to move forward with this process so that you can love yourself. Because, as I'm sure you've heard, you can't give to others what you don't have to offer. How can I hold my daughter in love and in light if I am not that myself? And so I create the space. I have created this space over time. I hold this space sacred so that it has divine love and light energy in it. I also prepare the space just before our session, and that is so that it is safe and welcoming for you. Because even though we might do this distance and online, I do the meditations via Zoom. This healing is done in a shared space. And so I want that to be a safe, welcoming space for you. And when we come together in this space with the intention of healing, the divine guides me in the highest good for both of us. And when you allow me to guide you through a meditation, I allow the divine to flow through me. With your allowance, I can sense and tune into your energy. And so when the divine is flowing through me in the moment of this meditation session with you, I tune my words, and my pacing is personalized specifically for your needs. And so you can get a lot of breakthroughs. And just, I have noticed doing my own meditations and being led through a meditation by another healer, it is more powerful when a powerful healer can lead you through this. And so that is my gift to you. It also is, I'm offering, because of the deep internal work that it takes to identify the triggers and to deactivate the triggers, to remove that emotional charge from those triggers. It takes a lot of deep internal work. And so I have put the processes and techniques and strategies together that I went through into a course, and I would love to take you through this course. So I'm running this course, and I look forward to taking you through this. You may message me on here. You may look up the Spiritually Nurtured Mother and find me there and message me for this course. I would love to take you through it. I hope you have a blessed day. I bless you with love and light. I bless you with purified, divine energy. I am honored that you are here. I am honored and blessed to serve you. Thank you.